Catwoman number 17, written by Ann Nocenti, art by Rafa Sandoval. Last issue was Black Diamond Probability, literally does not matter at all. This issue, we see Catwoman dressed up in as close as I could describe as cowboy gear, like urban cowboy, and she's watching on a rooftop a drug deal going on a nearby playground. And two kids with rat tails, that's the name of their gang, the Rat Tails, are giving drugs to this dude in a suit. And as soon as they hand over the drugs, he starts beating the crap out of him, saying, "Oh, you're on the wrong turf." And then this guy shows up, also with a rat tail. He's their, like, muscle. And he's like, "Oh, get out of here. Leave these kids alone." And he's like, "Oh, you messed on the wrong turf, rat tails." And then all of a sudden, Catwoman, in full gear, shows up. The kids start running, and they are immediately taken out by apparently untied shoelaces. And then she binds up the two guys to a tetherball pole and says, "All right, I've seen you guys selling drugs or whatever. I got a name for you, tuxedo guy. It's Volt. Who's your boss? Whose turf is this supposedly?" And he won't snitch. He says that it used to be a fat guy in a tuxedo and now it's a skinny guy, which makes me think it's an ongoing Penguin plot in Detective Comics. But regardless, she says, "Hey kids, don't deal drugs, although I could use some eyes on the street, so how about you work for me?" And they're like, "How is that better?" It sounds like a lateral move. But either way, she sends the adults on their way. Later on, they're at a Gotham museum, and by them I mean Catwoman, her fence that I keep on forgetting the name of, and the kids. And they're looking at stealing a painting for somebody. And they describe, I can't even begin to tell you how many speech bubbles that say absolutely nothing of value there are in this book, but they're there. But they're talking about stealing this painting and how there are no cameras or whatever, and they just in and out like a 10-minute job. And so they go back to Selina's penthouse and they show Selina like taking apart the frame of the painting, taking out the staples and rolling it up all in under a minute. And she's like, "Cool, I could totally do this job. By the way, these drugs with a rat logo on it, do you know who they belong to?" And the friend says, "Nope." So then we go to the police department where there are just so many crazy people and they're all talking and none of them are important to the plot. And we get Detective, I think it's Alvarez. That sounds familiar. He's with a new partner, and she is more than happy to like throw the book at pretty much anybody. And he's like, no, like only do it to people who deserve it, like the actual criminals. Crazy people aren't criminals. So at that point, they get fingerprints back on the object that was thrown out of the building at like Alvarez, I think in issue like 14, and they get it back and it's for Gwen. Gwen's the name of the fence. And it's like, "Oh, wait a minute. I know her. She's already been in the system." And another set of fingerprints are on there. And he's like, "That must be Catwoman's. I recognized her leaving that day. I should have stopped her. We bring in Gwen, we get Catwoman." So at that point, that's going on. Then we go to a hospital that takes in, I think, just orphans in general. And we see Catwoman walks in saying like, "Oh, I'm looking for a specific kid. His name is Milo. I want to be his mentor." And the one is like, "Oh, no, not Milo. He's terrible. He's an uncurable." And she recounts how they threw out a teddy bear or something and he got it out of the trash saying that a cat gave it to him, and how, I don't know, apparently he did something awful according to them, but like we saw the kid the whole way through. I have no idea what they're even talking about. So anyway, we go back to the museum, and the night the Catwoman is going to get the painting, she's calling up Gwen like 30 times trying to get her for her ride. And then some other guy starts breaking in wearing fishnet stockings as his mask. And he starts bumbling around stealing a bird-shaped ornament that goes on top of a cane. So Catwoman comes down, starts stealing the painting, sees the guy there, and just like, "Hey, you can't be in here. This is my job." And he's like, "Well, I was here first. Screw you." So they start fighting. And Catwoman gets them all bound up and says like, "All right, for better or worse, we're both here now. I don't have a ride. Do you have a ride? And he's like, yeah. He's like, cool. Would you mind letting me hitch a ride with you? And he says, yeah, sure, whatever. So they both hop onto his scooter. She calls up Gwen after the fact, leaves her a voicemail like, where the hell were you? I needed you for that gig. And then she just screams out Batman, I guess hoping that he would show up. It's not explained. So anyway, the police have Gwen. She says, I get one phone call. She calls up somebody who says, she says, get me out. And the other voice says, got it. And then nothing comes from that immediately. And then we just see that the fat guy has met back up with his boss. And he's like, oh yeah, there's some crazy cat lady was there as well. And the boss is like, did you say cat lady? And that's it. Okay. I don't like it. I think that's the easiest I could really say here, is I'm not a fan. She keeps on going on about how after the Black Diamond thing, she doesn't want to steal jewels anymore, which is why she's stealing this painting. But like, there are 5 different plots going on here, and none of them feel like they get the time they deserve. Like, it's so haphazardly thrown together. I know that I made at least somewhat sense of it in explaining it to you, but like, when I said she goes to like an orphanage or a hospital that has these kids, I said that in maybe 30 seconds. That was 5 pages of just dialogue that contributes nothing. It's just purely for the setting, and I just cannot describe how annoying it is to get through that again and again and again. So, yeah. I'm giving this one a 4.5, and a lot of that comes down to at least the art allowed me to follow what in the hell is going on, because I couldn't say that about the last arc for sure.